In our modern age, Islam has become the fastest spreading religion in the world, with its followers being found in more than half the world. However, due to its prevalence, many people have wrongly misunderstood its meaning, and hence have painted a very harmful picture of Islam. Here is a list of 5 common misconceptions of Islam. Contrary to a common misconception, many believe Islam is at odds with science, that surely a religion as old as 1400 years could not support scientific discovery. However, in reality, these two are beautifully intertwined. The Quran and Sunnah, the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, champion the pursuit of knowledge as an act of worship. It is narrated in Sahih Muslim that the Prophet once said, "Whoever walks a path in which he seeks knowledge, Allah will ease his way to paradise." While the Quran isn't a scientific manual, its verses touch upon all kinds of learning such as physics, astrology, geology, botany, medicine, and genetics, highlighting the significance of science in Allah's eyes. And hence, over the past history of Islam, Muslim societies would not have made such great advancements in Islam if Islam had discouraged it. One bright figure, Ibn al-Haytham, known as the father of modern optics, studied deep into the principles of light behavior, shaping present-day scientific understanding. Today, many Muslim scholars and scientists, from Nobel laureate Aziz Sankar to spaceflight architect Karim Karimov, continue to push scientific thought and technology forward. It is no wonder that Islam's commitment to learning is so profound that even Gustave Le Bon, a French scholar, acknowledged, if the Arabs did not appear on the stage of history, Europe's renaissance in literature would have been delayed for several centuries. In Islam, science is not only respected, but also heavily encouraged and adored, which leads us to another misconception about Islam, that it oppresses its women and are seen as lesser beings. However, the Quran, in addressing the believers, often uses the expression believing men and women to emphasize that both men and women have been created equal in Allah's eyes. Would Islam truly oppress its women when its prophet, a beacon of kindness, would stand up and give up his seat whenever his daughter entered the room? Surely not when his care would reach so far. It has been narrated in Sahih Bukhari that the prophet once said, "The best among you are those who are best to their wives." In Islam, women have the same opportunities as men: education, work, property ownership, and complete freedom to choose their marriage or divorce. The only requirement for women is to appear in public with decency and humility, which is just as much a requirement for men too. The notion that Islam promotes women's oppression is false, likely arising from other cultural practices, whereas in reality it encourages leniency and kindness towards women, even by normal standards. And hence, moving on to the topic of kindness and respect, we come to our next misconception, that Islam does not tolerate other religions, but that is not true at all. Islam has a general attitude of understanding and coherence with all people. In Surah Al-Isra, verse number 70, the Quran mentions, "And we have certainly honored the children of Adam, and carried them on the land and sea, and provided for them of the good things," which means Allah, in all His glory, respects and cares for all of humanity, for they are His creations as well. Are they not? Islam teaches Muslims to champion the rights of all non-Muslims, and to give them full opportunity to practice their religion and build houses of worship. Under an Islamic state, the only difference imposed on non-Muslims is a separate tax known as jizya, that is used in turn to further protect and employ Muslim services of the state, all for their internal benefit. What's more is that Islam belongs to one of the 3 Abrahamic religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. They all have a common origin of Prophet Ibrahim, and therefore worship the same God, Allah. In Surah Al-Nahl, verse number 123, the Quran states, "Say, O Prophet, we follow the faith of Abraham, the upright, who was not a polytheist." Islam understands the same Abrahamic lineage is shared, and hence treats them with the same dignity as they do their own, and that's why within Islamic law all non-Muslims are given equal public and private rights. Which brings us to the next misconception, that Islamic law, or Sharia, is excessively cruel. Sharia is not cruel, rather a comprehensive system of law that is designed to promote justice, compassion, and mercy. The Quran explicitly states in Surah Al-Nahl, verse number 90, "Indeed, Allah commands justice, good conduct, and liberality to kith and kin. He forbids all shameful deeds, injustice, and rebellion, and He instructs you, so that you may be reminded." Sharia embraces principles that protect human feelings and ensure fairness in all aspects of life. For instance, in Surah Ma'idah verse number 3, Allah says, But whoever is forced by severe hunger with no inclination to sin, then indeed Allah is forgiving and merciful. This verse implies that a man who commits the sin of stealing food will not be punished for his unfortunate situation that he has no control over. He only seeks to feed himself and should not be punished for being hungry. In essence, Sharia seeks to establish a just and humane society, promoting values that align with the principles of fairness and mercy outlined in the Quran and Hadith, and to establish a just society for all Muslims to live in. We come to our next and biggest misconception: when Muslims struggle for peace. One of the greatest misunderstandings of Islam is that it promotes terrorism, which is a belief based on serious misinterpretations. Islam completely rejects terrorism and strongly promotes peace and justice. In Surah Ma'idah, verse number 32 of the Quran, it is stated, "Whoever kills an innocent person, it is as if he has killed all of humanity. And whoever saves a life, it is as if he has saved all of humanity." That is why the act of taking innocent lives is considered a severe and unforgivable sin in Islam. The Prophet greatly discouraged bloodshed even during times of war. He said to not kill monks in monasteries and to not kill anyone sitting in places of worship. The concept of jihad, often misconstrued, refers to the struggle against injustice and oppression, not an endorsement of violence. As such, the term freedom fighters, or people who have to fight to ensure their survival under a tyrannical state, is surely jihad as well. A textbook example of jihad would be the fight. Palestinians fight every day against the ruthless state of Israel. All Muslims have the right to defend themselves as any human on the planet has, and that is why it is important to differentiate between the actions of extremists and the peaceful principles embraced by true Muslims and those struggling for freedom. It is important to remember that these stereotypical misconceptions are not based on reality. It's crucial to fight false information about Islam and to promote understanding and respect in all communities. That is, that Islam urges treating everyone and everything with kindness, respect, and dignity.